Hey, what's up, guys? I know what you're thinking. This isn't New York City. I get it. But we are in Miami. It's a lot nicer weather than it is in New York, I will say that. However, we will be back in New York City tomorrow night. So we will be streaming live from Midtown Manhattan tomorrow night. Quick trip. I think it's a little bit too short. But the interesting thing is, today was the first day that I've seen the sun in 10 days. It's been 10 straight days. I think now it makes it 11 today, where there hasn't been any sun in New York City. So a little bit crazy. But anyway, we'll just do a quick audio and visual check. If you guys can hear me and if we're streaming in 1080p, just go ahead and give a thumbs up in the chat and we'll kick this off. Welcome to downtown Miami. We're gonna be walking all the way to Brickell. You'll see the Kaseya Center, where the Miami Heat play, and we are also streaming live right from 1000 Museum, one of the most luxurious apartment buildings in downtown Miami. So we'll get started in just a moment. All right, everybody, let's kick this off. It'll probably be a shorter than normal stream, but that's all right. A few things to talk about tonight, but I think we're gonna wait until New York City to do the real deep dive into corporate earnings, right? So we talked about Microsoft, we talked about Alphabet, but today, our good friend Mark Zuckerberg reported for Meta, ticker symbol META, and also Tim Cook reported for Apple. And I mean, talk about a monster, okay? A monster quarter for Meta. I think the stock's up like 10%, or like 5 or 10% after hours, or something like that. Insane. Profit tripled. So profitability at Meta tripled. And they've also, breaking news, the first time in company history, they actually announced a dividend. Crazy, right? So Meta is such a cash cow that they're now going to implement a dividend. So sales in the fourth quarter were up 25% year over year, while expenses decreased 8% year over year to about $23.73 billion. Now, we talked about why this is, right? And we actually did an entire stream series talking about the so-called year of efficiency at Meta, right? So when Mark Zuckerberg came out and announced the year of efficiency in 2023, shareholders were very pleased with that, particularly members of the board. And if you remember correctly, the stock actually initially topped in 2021. As interest rates went up, stock got crushed, down 77%. Meta suffered from corporate bloat. There was about 80,000 employees. Mark Zuckerberg said, look, we're gonna go back to the basics. We're gonna fire almost everybody. They laid off about 25% of the company. They got very lean, very mean. Profitability went through the roof. Revenue went through the roof. And now the stock is at new all-time record highs and up 14% after hours. So an unbelievable report. In terms of earnings per share, the company brought in about $5.33 of EPS. Analysts on Wall Street were only expecting about $4.96. So a huge beat on the bottom line, but also smashed the number on the bottom line, or on the top line for revenue. Came in at $40.1 billion for the quarter. Wall Street analysts were expecting about $39.18 billion. There is an interesting metric that we need to talk about. Now, my background is in tech. Okay, I spent about a decade in tech sales, And I remember in these meetings that we would have, we would always talk about the acronym ARPU. So ARPU is the acronym for average revenue per user. Okay, so if you're selling, telecom, if you're selling software or whatever you're selling, right, on a subscription basis, if you pay monthly, if you pay quarterly, if you pay yearly, one of the metrics that a lot of analysts look at, and as well as corporate executives, is the average revenue per user. So at Meta, $13.12 versus the $12.81 expected. So, I mean, every single metric across the board, Meta just blew it out of the water. It's insane. Lastly, I was going to talk about Apple's earnings report, but quite frankly, I just didn't even have enough time to look into it. So I'm going to lean on you guys to sort of let me know, right? A lot of times people tune into Walks on Wall Street to get updates on the news. Tonight, it's going to be a little bit different. We're not only in Miami, but I need to ask you guys what happened. What happened in the earnings report at Apple? All right, well, let me go ahead and close up the laptop. We'll say hello to everybody in the chat and we will get this started. The only other announcement that I have for everybody in the chat is I just emailed everybody, okay? I just sent out our bi-weekly newsletter called the Behind the Street newsletter. Every other Thursday after the market closes, we send out our free equity research piece. So go ahead and check your email because we talked a lot about artificial intelligence. It's a little bit shorter than normal piece, if you notice, but I was traveling a lot. It's been a hectic week for me, but if you would like to sign up to receive that newsletter every other Thursday after the market closes, just go ahead and type !news, NEWS in the chat, and the Nightbot will drop the link to our Substack, where you'll get it right around 7:30, 8 o'clock, depending on where you are in the world, in the United States. Real quick, check this building out. This is the 1000 Museum building in downtown Miami. Zaha Hadid was the architect on this building. It's absolutely stunning. Now this building is so crazy, it kind of looks like a scorpion. But there's actually a big fan of flying, right? Not a lot of people like to, or not a big fan of driving, I should say. If you don't like to drive, this is no big deal. You could just take your helicopter, land it on the roof, and you could go into your apartment. But let me just go ahead and put my computer away, and we'll say hello to everybody, and we'll kick this thing off. Just give me a second. All right, I see DC322. Good to see you. Hey, Riley's here. I haven't seen you in such a long time. It's a pleasure to have you here. Hopefully you're doing well. Happy 2024. Richard Scott is here. What's up, Richard? D, Zozo, Bob. I'm in your neck of the woods, my friend. Lance says bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. Absolutely. Ace Options Trading. Thank you so much for joining us as we are here in downtown Miami. 75 degrees. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Western Mass Dave, what's up? This is one of Miami's coolest buildings. This thing is incredible. It's an insane building. And you're gonna see even more amazing buildings tonight as we walk from downtown Miami all the way to Brickell. Now you'll notice downtown Miami doesn't really have too much foot traffic, but as we head towards Brickell and Brickell Key, you're gonna see a lot of the foot traffic pick up. That's where the majority of people, are walking around. You really do need a car in Miami, in most places. So, Tom Wilson, good to see you, Tom. Thanks so much for joining us. DM, welcome to downtown Miami. Hopefully you brought your flip-flops. Crypto Meme is here. Good to see you, Crypto Meme. Now, there's something about just looking at the palm trees that just kind of is like a relaxation method. It's really relaxing, just looking at the palm trees instead of New York City every once in a while. It's nice. Zozo Bob says that was Zaha's only skyscraper in the Western Hemisphere. It's an incredible building. Oh, look at this. So this is the Panorama Tower, or Paramount Tower. I always get them confused. Look at that. I believe this building has the most amenities anywhere in the United States. It has this huge screen here that's always lit up differently every single night. I like it during the 4th of July because it's lit up red, white, and blue, which is pretty cool. Lori Crockett Owens, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Jonathan from Florida, from Pompano Beach, I believe. Good to see you. It's a beautiful day here in South Florida. Love it. UniJ23 says happy Thursday, Tom and everybody. Right back at you. Happy Thursday to you too. On this very, very busy week, crazy week on Wall Street. Action-packed. Pretty much all the major tech companies reported, and we heard from the Federal Reserve. Fed Chair Jerome Powell comes out and holds interest rates unchanged. I don't even think we talked about that yesterday because I had to leave early to catch my flight. But there was a pause in the hiking cycle, as many of you predicted. So the Fed funds rate stays in a range of 5.25% to 5.5%. Right here, this is US 1 or Biscayne Boulevard. This is where the Miami Heat play, right here at the Kaseya Center. I'm sure everybody knows what the former name of the building was. The FTX Arena that turned out to be a huge fraud. Sam Bankman-Fried. Crazy. Looking in the distance, you could see Bayfront Marketplace. You can see the Ferris wheel over there. DC322 says we may see a rate drop in April or May. Maybe. Now, what was interesting to me, I had some time to listen to the speech. If you haven't, I would highly, highly suggest you do. And the Federal Reserve Chairman, Mr. Powell, essentially shot down any sort of chance that there was going to be a rate cut in March. So, I don't know. If you look at the CME, I should say the Fed Funds Futures, right? The CME watch tool. There's about a 48% likelihood, right, according to this tool, that the Fed funds rate is going to be 3.75% to 4% by the end of the year. I'm not too sure. I mean, every time the Fed comes on the loudspeaker, the announcements, they say it's going to be higher for longer. So, I don't know. Now, everybody, this is my favorite building in all of Miami. This is the Freedom Tower. This is where many of the Cuban immigrants came to the United States first. They came right here. Now, usually the spire of the tower is lit up. Unfortunately, it's under construction. There's some scaffolding there. So, Miami is a lot like New York in multiple ways, including the scaffolding. This is Paramount Tower. Hey, Scott's keep an eye on regional banks. The big guys look okay. I agree. You know, I wrote a little bit about that very, very briefly at the end of the newsletter that I just sent out to everybody because, you know, to Scott's point, okay, and we are going to talk about some of the regional bank earnings, which were a little bit concerning. The stocks are down pretty big. But if the Fed chair continues to say higher for longer, there's going to be no rate hike in March, but the CME Fed Watch tool shows rate cuts, Is this the market telling us that the Fed is going to be forced to pivot? Now, what do I mean by forced to pivot? Is there going to be some big systemic banking crisis? Is there going to be a black swan event that the market is saying, look, there's trouble somewhere, I don't know where it is, and if that trouble shows itself, the Fed is going to have to be very accommodative? I don't know. Interesting kind of thesis, maybe? Who knows? Robert Parker, what's up? Chris Beese says, I don't know if we will ever see sub 4%. I think at some point in our lifetime we probably will, but maybe. Christian says, hey Tom, thoughts on the court ruling on Elon's pay? I can't even believe it. I had some time to look into it, and I can't even believe that. I mean, it's not a good look for free market capitalism in the United States. It's very, very scary. But that's just me. I don't want to impose my opinion on anybody else. I love this row of palm trees here. This is sort of looking up near Edgewater. Not Edgewater, New Jersey. Edgewater, Miami. And look at that. You got the Cuban flag flying right at the Freedom Tower. DC 322 says good economy, but companies has to cut a lot of jobs. Well, here's the thing. Many people, right, and we've talked about this before. I think this is a good topic of conversation. You know, earnings, we talked about Microsoft, we talked about Google, or Alphabet. Now, Alphabet, on their earnings report, they announced additional job cuts or layoffs, right? Now, the justification for that was we have to reduce headcount so we could free up some cash to continue to invest in artificial intelligence. Now, Google's sort of big push, right, in AI with their Google Cloud platform is their new product, Gemini. So essentially what they want to do is they want to have Gemini be sold, right, probably as some sort of subscription service, and that's the way they're going to monetize artificial intelligence. So investors oftentimes, it may sound kind of maybe even sociopathic, but sometimes layoffs are very good for the stock. Case in point with Meta. You know, right when Mark Zuckerberg announced the year of efficiency, laid off over 25,000 people and got down to the basics, or I should say back to the basics, the stock took off, profitability tripled this quarter, and the company's pretty much firing on all cylinders. So, guys, this building is very, very cool. This is called the Elser. It's a hotel and residences in Miami. Now, the interesting thing about it is that it is a collection of fully furnished studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms. So there's this big push now towards sort of like a sharing economy. So a lot of people who live in Miami, they don't really live here full time. They may live here only for 6 months. So if you purchase a unit at the Elser, you can rent out your fully furnished 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or 3 bedroom apartment, right? And get income when you're not using it. It's kind of like a snowbird's kind of paradise. And this building just went up. I think it just opened. It's really, really cool in there. And you're right across the street from Bayside Marketplace. New York City. Now, I'm not sure if many of you have seen our New York City live streams during the summer. That brings me back to being in Midtown Manhattan or Soho in the summer when everybody's out on their bikes. But right here in Miami, you could pretty much do that all year. You can't really do that in New York right now. It's 20 degrees out. Hey, Sharon, good to see you. This is evening time. Seems like a nice weather. It was beautiful. I was, as you can probably tell, I'm in a good mood because I finally saw the sun after about 10 days. It was beautiful, even though I was running around like crazy today. I got to fly back to New York tomorrow, so we will be doing this stream from Midtown Manhattan tomorrow. I got an early flight out, so yeah, it was awesome today. Great weather. Got a lot of stuff done. Hey, Troy Atman, what's up? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Joseph Hardaway, welcome. Now, this is a really cool building. You're gonna have to Google it. It's the Waldorf Astoria Residences in Miami. You guys have to see the digital rendering of the building. It's insane. So if you just Google Waldorf Astoria, downtown Miami. Oh, here it is. Look at how crazy this thing is gonna be. It's individual boxes pretty much stacked up on top of one another. And this is gonna be the tallest building south of the World Trade Center. It's just insane. You can see a rendering of the skyline. So for some perspective, we started the live stream right here. Okay, right outside 1000 Museum. So this is the Zaha Hadid building with the helipad on the roof. And then we've walked all the way here. That's the Kaseya Center, the old FTX Arena. And look at this thing. This thing is insane. I don't even know how that's gonna look in the skyline. I can't even really picture it. It almost doesn't even look real, but that's what it's gonna look like. Crazy. What do you guys think? Do you like the design? Don't like the design? Think it's a little bit too weird? I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I'll need to see it in person to kind of really wrap my head around it, I guess. Hey, Steph UF, what's up? Good to see you. Hang with Mark Mom, what's up? Good to see you and welcome. You know what? I think we have just enough time to venture into the Bayside Marketplace. Let's see. Because they just opened up some new, I think, I saw it online. They were doing a lot of construction and I think it's complete now, so they just opened it up. Maybe we'll go in there. Yeah, Storm Riders says nope, don't really care for it. I feel like they're kind of trying to copy New York City a little bit with the crazy glass skyscrapers and the structures. You can see the Ferris wheel in the distance here. Maybe we'll have to go in the sales gallery. It's on 4th Street. Looks like this is going to be the site. Hey, 2 Video Explorers, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be coming up on the 200 Southeast Financial Center. Which is the temporary headquarters of Citadel Securities until they could build their huge, I should say super tall office tower in Brickell. Hey DA, what's up? This is how was your flight? It was good. It was a good flight. Just tired. I've been sort of going non-stop. I gotta try to sleep in tomorrow, but I can't. I have a flight back to New York City. This is the Miami PD. So we're coming up on where we usually start the live streams, which is right outside the 200 Southeast Financial Center. CPQ trainers, hey Tom, what do you think about Elon Musk's brain implant? Yeah, the Neuralink. You know, I tend to be a little bit of an optimist about it. A lot of people don't like it. People don't like it, but I mean, that has the potential to cure blindness, to help people walk again. So I don't think it's going to be used for any nefarious activities. Let's just say that, in my view. I think it's going to be the first stepping stone to a huge medical breakthrough. So Storm Rider said, would I do a Neuralink? Let's see how this guy recovers first. This is 50 Biscayne. This is a really nice condo building. But apparently, you know, Elon Musk and team at Neuralink said the guy who got the chip implant is recovering very nicely. That's good news. That's what we want to hear. I mean, it's a very, very risky procedure to be number one to do that. This is the Intercontinental Hotel. And this is almost open here, East Flagler Street. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make downtown Miami more walkable, kind of like New York City. It's not open yet. You can see all the construction. This will be open to cars very, very soon. But we can walk and give a behind the scenes look at it. Again, this isn't open. It's all blocked off, but this is all brand new. So the sidewalks are now level with the street. There's going to be shops down here. Now, all the way down here is a really, really nice place. I'll take you guys in. I always love coming here. I think it's called Julian Henry's or something. I forget the exact name of it, but we'll walk past it now. Look at the palm trees on the roof. This looks like a pizzeria. Alan says, Tom, did you get a chance to see the Cash Jordan video of the New York City building collapsing? So I didn't get a chance just because I've been so crazy. You know, with traveling, but that is on my watch list. I've saved it. I'm obviously subscribed to his channel, so I have it on my saved up next. So I'll probably watch that on my flight back to New York. Guys, check this out. This is really cool. So all the way in the distance, this is the brand new Aston Martin Residences, which we're going to check out here in just a moment. This thing is insane. Really, really cool building. And I think it's about 98% sold, and it doesn't even have any occupancy, which is wild. Ah, there you go. Zozo Bob, appreciate that. Yeah, Julian Henry's. This place is really cool. Let's see if we can go in there. I took you guys in here last time. If I have time, maybe I'll come in here tomorrow before I fly out. CPQ trainers, Tom, are you in favor of the tolls being put up in Manhattan? I am not. We've covered that many times on the stream. I'm not a big fan of the congestion pricing at all. I think it is a tax on the middle class. But again, I respect all political beliefs. So this is essentially what Miami's trying to do. They're trying to make downtown Miami more walkable for pedestrians to attract more people down here. So this is all blocked off. It is not yet open, but this is an example of a really cool sort of eatery, Julian Henry's. Let's go in. Let's see if we can just get a little bit of footage. But this place has very, very good food. So welcome to Julia and Henry's. We'll just do one quick lap around. So in the middle here, they have this huge bar, but I think the entire place spans about 3 stories, which is pretty cool. We'll go up to the 2nd floor just to show you around, but it's essentially a big food court with tons of shops, tons of places. I think the more things they build like this in downtown Miami, it's going to kind of attract, similar vibe of New York City, where you don't have to have a car all the time. Right? If places are walkable, if it's in walking distance, you'll have more foot traffic and the cities will be a little bit more lively. It's cool, right? I've eaten at this spot. I had a pasta, it was very good. We'll do one lap around and then we'll head out. there's a whole other third floor too. All right, let's head down and then let's go to Brickell.
Thank you.
All right, we're back on the street. So what do you guys think? I think they did a really nice job with that. You know, the more you create spaces where people feel like they can come and hang out, the more you're really going to transform downtown Miami into a more walkable place where people want to actually live. So I'm very bullish on Miami, as you guys know. I think downtown Miami is going to be changed completely over the next coming years. There's going to be more shops, more construction, more places for people to hang out. And that's what I'm in favor of. More walkable cities, you know. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think it's a step in the right direction, right? Not bad. Because the way I think about it is, you know, when we do our live streams in New York City, on every single street corner there's something to do, right? There's coffee shops, there's, you know, bars, there's, you know, theaters. There's just so many options, and so close together too. So I think the more options Miami builds, the more people are going to come. So oh, that's right. Hawaii. When is the last time you were actually in Miami? I think we talked about this before. You got to come back. I mean, if the last time you were in Miami is like 2014, 2015, totally different. Like so different. Hey, Michelle K, what's up? Good to see you. Greg Peters says Miami has been coming up since Miami Vice. Now, isn't there that video game that's based on Miami that's supposed to be coming out too? Well, look at this, a dumpling place in Miami? Huh. I haven't really had, I don't know, I haven't really had much good Asian cuisine in Miami, Florida. But I think that'll change. Hopefully it'll change. Oh, is that right? Zozo Bomb says this whole area used to be dead after 5 p.m. Okay, this is Miami Tower, or the City National Bank building. Pretty cool. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams every single day starting at 8:30. CPQ Trainers is Gordon Ramsay's. Oh, you know what? I think his other restaurant, Hell's Kitchen, Also opened by the Aston Martin building. We'll take a look over there and take a look at it. Now, last time we looked at that, it was totally, like, it was not a empty seat in the restaurant. Right down here is the most expensive Whole Foods you'll ever go to, as well as the 200 Southeast Financial Center. And maybe we'll see the Metro Mover coming back and forth. Check the battery. All right, so we're about to make the transition from downtown Miami over to Brickell, which is the financial district of Miami. You'll see a lot of the banks. We'll see Bank of America Tower. Hey, Brad's Brain, what's up? That's the Metro Mover. See, we can't have a subway here for obvious reasons, so they elevate the trains. This is the Hyatt Regency. All right, so we're not going to go down here, but if you do go down here, this is where the brand new Aston Martin residence is. It's right here, and you can see all of Brickell Key. It's amazing, amazing. But we're going to walk directly over the bridge to Brickell. Hey, the LT Prods, I don't understand why the market was surprised by no cut in March. Even Elizabeth Warren wrote the Fed asking him to cut. These people just want money. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because if you look at the CME Fed Watch tool, which we talked about, it's showing about a 48% likelihood that by the end of the year, so December of 2024, the Fed funds rate is going to be in a range of 3.75% to 4%. But every time we have an FOMC meeting, the Fed, delays cutting and says, look, we have to be steadfast to get inflation back down to our 2% target. So look, I don't know. The market is at odds with the Fed, and the market is claiming that Fed Chair Powell is lying, right? So one of the things we wrote about in the newsletter, and if you want to read the newsletter I just sent out, I just emailed it to everybody. If you type !news, NEWS in the chat, it'll bring you to that link to our Substack. Now, the only thing I can think of, because the market is saying the Fed is going to cut, but the Fed is saying that it's not. I believe the market may be predicting or projecting some sort of systemic black swan event where the Fed will be forced to cut, in a sense. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I don't think that'll happen. But the question is, why is it that futures are saying one thing, or the market is saying one thing, and the Fed is saying another? Who knows? All right, look at this. This is the Miami Riverwalk. You have all restaurants alongside the water. Really, really beautiful here. Wow, really, really stunning. Look at that. Now, sometimes, everybody, if you look really close in the lights by all these yachts, sometimes fish are attracted to the lights. Today I was walking around my neighborhood and I saw 2 huge manatees. That's one of the things I like about being down here. You get to see so much cool wildlife. Now, all the way in the distance, this is Brickell Key. Just very, very cool neighborhood. Hey, Ken Brockton, what's up? Thanks for joining us. We are now officially making the transition from downtown Miami to Brickell, the financial district. Hey, Carl, what's up? Thanks for joining. So this is a pretty cool view of the yacht, but then as we lift the camera up a little bit, you'll be able to see the Aston Martin residences. How cool is that? And then you see everybody dining, having a good time, eating by the water. Amazing. Now we're coming up on the W Miami, or the W Hotel, Icon Brickell. I can't get over the Aston Martin residences. It's just an incredible building, insane building. That's a cool shot. That was a cool view, the plane going by. I think if I had an apartment here, I'd just watch the planes take off from Miami International Airport all day. Now, when we get back to New York City tomorrow, we'll do a deeper dive into the earnings reports that came out today. Obviously, we heard from Mark Zuckerberg and we heard from Tim Cook. Now, I was so busy today, I didn't get a chance to do a deep dive into Apple's earnings report, but I did get a chance to look at Facebook or Meta, and man, did they absolutely knock it out the park. Insanity. Crazy numbers. They tripled profitability. They managed to cut costs even more. And the stock, I believe, is up like 5-6%. Something like that. Or maybe even more. It's crazy what a complete 180 Meta has done. From being down 77% from its all-time record high to now reaching brand new all-time record highs again. The LT Prots, I hope I'm wrong, but it seems like the world is heading for some geopolitical event that will finally affect the markets. Maybe, but I think we would see that in the bond market, right? Now, the interesting thing is, if anything, the bond market is acting rather well. We're having a pretty big rally in the bond market and yields have been coming down. I think if the market was predicting some sort of a massive geopolitical event, you would have the bond market selling off and yields blowing out. I mean, maybe there's still time for that, right? But in general, okay, let's head to Brickell City Center and marry Brickell Village. But just a quick announcement for all of those that are just joining, just a quick public service announcement. We did just send out, I believe, the second issue of our Behind the Street newsletter. So go ahead and check your email if you have not done so already. Now, it's a shorter than normal piece, just due to travel, but I think it's very helpful. I think there's a lot of good information in there. I've also included a lot of helpful videos for all of you. There was an interview, a really good interview I think everybody should watch. The CEO of AMD. Then I included an interview with Citadel CEO Ken Griffin. I think you're going to find that very insightful. So if you want to sign up and receive that newsletter, and if you want to read it, head over to our Substack. If you type !news, NEWS in the chat, or if you scan the QR code on the screen, it should drop the link where you can sign up for the newsletter. So we're making the transition to Mary Brickell Village and Brickell City Center. This is actually the construction site for the brand new One Brickell City Center, which is going to be a mixed-use building. Right here, One Brickell City Center. And all of these buildings are going to be coming down. I don't know when they're going to complete construction though. I believe Thoma Bravo is moving in here somewhere, which is the private equity firm of Orlando Bravo. So this is kind of the indoor-outdoor mall here. This is the Metromover Brickell City Center Station. I wonder how much they charge to park per month. Hey JC, this is Tom. Are you currently the only author / contributor to the newsletter, or are there others? No, everything that I write or everything that I send out is totally my writing. Now, if I sent you guys everything, it would be like 30 pages. So all the nonsense that I write throughout the week, I shouldn't say nonsense, but I think you get the point. I whittle that down into about, I try to make it less than 2,000 words. I think if you send somebody 2,000 words, it gets very tedious and laborious to read. So I try to keep it under 2,000 words. So this is South Miami Avenue, South 7th Street. I believe this is one of the oldest bars in Miami, or in the United States. I like it down here. It's cool. It's a really nice, really nice environment here. You have the KPMG here, you have WeWork. Everything is very nice. Hey, Optimus17 says you are a very dedicated researcher and writer. I appreciate that, and I really do appreciate the support. Everybody's been reading it. It matters more than you know, trust me. You know, we've doubled the size of our viewership, essentially. People who read the newsletter, ever since we started back up again consistently, we've doubled the size of it. And it's brought a lot of amazing opportunities my way. So I really do appreciate that. Thank you all. And it helps me become a better writer, right? I was listening to a podcast with, why am I blanking on his name? Bill Ackman. How could I forget his name? Bill Ackman, in one of his podcasts, he's like, if you can just consistently write 10,000 words a week, which I know is a lot, and you don't have to publish it, but just consistently write your thoughts, 10,000 words around there, you're going to drastically improve your communication skills. And if you want to take it a step further and publish it, right, publish your work, whatever you're writing about, could be the financial markets, maybe you write about, the food business, or maybe you just write about, your life, and you publish that, incredible opportunities will present themselves. If you think about a lot of the greatest investors, all of them are avid writers. You look at Warren Buffett. Think about all of the, pages and pages and pages of letters to investors that Warren Buffett has written. So I think it's a good exercise. It's a good way to exercise your brain, try to improve. It's a challenge too, so I don't know. Anyway, guys, check this guy's apartment out. He's having a party here. These are my two favorite buildings in all of Miami. This is the SLS Lux Towers. That's incredible. What do you guys think of all the colors down here? I think it fits the bill to Miami very well. Hey, the LT Prod. This is Tom. I have told so many people about your quote, how Biden and Trump will be fine no matter what happens, and you need to take care of number one, you and your family. 100%. Particularly in this election year. There's going to be so many distractions coming down the pike with political infighting. You kind of got to tune out all of that nonsense and focus on what matters. I think that's so true. All right, let's cross here. Might as well. We got the light. So this is the Lucid Motors showroom. I don't know. I still like the design of Tesla a little bit better. What do you guys think? It's just not a very eye-popping design. I like it, but it doesn't really stand out, I don't think. Do you guys agree, disagree? It's a beautiful car, don't get me wrong. But it just doesn't have that it factor. It just doesn't stand out. I don't know. Really? Hawaii? So you like it better than the Tesla? What? Okay, I'll clarify. Okay, which model? It definitely doesn't look better than the Tesla Model X. There's no way. Yeah, JC says, Tom, any truth in the book The Creature from Jekyll Island? Yes. No, it's not a conspiracy theory at all. That's how the Federal Reserve was created. That's quite literally the story of the Federal Reserve. For sure, yeah. Yep. That's why a lot of libertarians, and not to get political, I respect everybody's political beliefs, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, whatnot. But during the Great Financial Crisis, right, 2008, 2009, there was this big End the Fed movement, right? And that was a lot of libertarians. It was a lot of, even a lot of socialists were in the boat of the End the Fed movement, because essentially the Federal Reserve has created a corporate socialist class, essentially subsidizing the losses and privatizing the gains in many instances. So yeah, I mean, a lot of libertarians are kind of in that same, are in the same End the Fed crowd for sure. I would say I'm in that crowd, but it's just not gonna happen. There's no way the Federal Reserve is ever gonna be disbanded. It's just not possible. This is the main entrance to the SLS Lux Tower. It's a pretty cool driveway. And I also like the facade, sort of like a rainbow facade. It's cool. Now they call this the Mini Manhattan. You can see a lot more foot traffic, it's a lot more lively. What do you guys think about the neighborhood? We're gonna continue to walk a little bit further down. And we'll go to Moxie's. But I'm not that big of a fan of Moxie's. A lot of you guys have advised against going there. I think that was the first time I've ever seen the Miami version of the CD guys in Times Square. Now, speaking of Times Square, there was a horrible incident that happened. There was a group of migrants that ganged up, I believe, on two NYPD officers and beat them up. Now, I think that's where, you know, we need to kind of use some common sense and draw the line, right? Because the city's spending billions and billions of dollars to take care of all these migrants, which I sympathize with. But if you're going to come here and get all this free shit and then beat up our NYPD officers, you know, it's time for you to hit the bricks. And I think everybody agrees with that. You don't have to be a Democrat or Republican. But I mean, if you come here, you know, and you want all the free services, that's fine. But, you know, just respect, you know, all city employees. Respect the NYPD, the FDNY, sanitation. You know, don't gang up on them. All right, let's cross, and then we'll go all the way down and just do we'll do one loop. I think we got enough time. I've only been to 2 restaurants here in Brickell, sort of like the Mary Brickell Village neighborhood. One of them has been right up here, this Italian spot. And the other one has been I would say like an Argentine steakhouse. I always wanted to try this one though. This one actually looks really good. No, Mitty Matty, that's right. Well, that's New York City policy, the catch and release, you know, no bail, or yeah, they don't set bail. That's crazy. Because that is, in my view, a public safety issue, particularly in this instance. Because if you have the gall, right, to assault a police officer, what do you think these people are going to do, just like tourists walking around New York City? Right, that has significant, you know, economic impacts on our city when we're trying to recover from the pandemic. we want to welcome tourists, right? From not only all over the country, but all over the world. And if they see these news stories of, people beating up the police and then getting released from prison, right? There's no consequence, and that's not good. This is the place I've been to. This place is really good. It kind of has like that indoor-outdoor feel, very similar to the brand new kind of South Street Seaport neighborhood, where they have the garage doors that kind of open up. It's a similar feel to that, which is very nice. Like near the Slip Street. Wow, TK Porsche. I didn't know that. This is one of those arrested. They have said they've been arrested previously. I think that's crazy. I think the governor should do the right thing here, and I think they should get deported, because it's just not safe. I don't think it's safe. All right, let's continue to walk down. Like, those are the things that just make me scratch my head about New York City. Like, if you want to come here, right, seeking asylum, no problem with that, right? We'll give you the temporary housing you need until you can get back on your feet. But if you come here and you cause trouble and assault police officers, steal things, like, I don't think you should have the privilege to stay here. There's a line of people waiting. Oh, look at that dog. Look at that. It's like a French bulldog zooming out across the street. I feel like they should probably have that on a leash, though. You never know. It could run out in traffic. Anyway, this is the Sexy Fish here. Never been. Apparently, it's very famous. A lot of people go here. It's like a nightclub. Hey, Lady O, what's up? Welcome to Brickell. We're hanging out in Miami tonight, only for a day, and then I will be back in New York City. All right, let's cross. And then I gotta go back and check on my scooter. Wow, look at this. This is a good view looking back the other way. They did a really good job with all this. It looks a lot more open, a lot more airy. I remember when this was under construction, they kind of closed off the entire thing. But now it's fully open. Looks good. They have valet parking, they have everything. All right, now that's a really nice Vespa here. But my favorite color is the very bright yellow for the Vespas. Very, very bright yellow. So this is the place I've been to, right here. Very good steakhouse. If you're in Miami, you're looking for a place to take clients. This one's actually very good. Very, very good. It's a little pricey, but so is everything in Miami, Florida now. And New York City for that matter. But hey, Dusty Cole, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Devers' population is greater. New York City is 19 million. Greater Miami population is 6.2. Not comparable. Lady O says, I was in Miami Beach and Brickell back in September and the vibes were awesome. Nice, you gotta come back. Hopefully you'll be back pretty soon. I'm only here for a day. I just had to make a set of keys for the tenants. The tenant's moving out, one's moving in. There was confusion. The guy accidentally took my keys back with him, so there's no keys to the house. It was, you know, I had to fly back, all that. Which is all right, it's no big deal. As long as they leave a good review, I'm fine. And hopefully he'll mail me back my house keys. Now, down here is where Citadel is going to build their huge office tower. I think every time we come down here, there's more and more foot traffic in Brickell, which is very good news. That means people are moving down here permanently and not just using Miami as a place to snowbird, if you will. I know, hang with Mark Mom says, I remember rushing off getting keys to the tenants. Now I have the smart locks for the entry. I should probably do that. I should probably do that, actually. Huh. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'll make the investment and do that. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's all right. It gave me an excuse to come down here. So I've hired a really good cleaner. So when somebody moves out, I just have the cleaning company come in the house. They take care of absolutely everything. So the apartment or the house is ready for the next guests. But there was a confusion. It was an honest mistake. The guy took the keys and he let me know. He's like, oh my God, I have the keys. I'm all the way back, you know, home. So it's like, oh, I got to make a set of keys and then give it to the newcomers. No worries. Hang with Mark Mom says, Tom, it's easy. My son bought them online and he did it himself. I got to do it. I have cameras all over the house, but I think I want to sync it with the lock system, as you said. So if I can just give somebody the code, it would be a lot easier. But I totally agree with you. Now, down here is the peak season, if you will. So I only rent my place out 30 days, the absolute minimum. The majority of people who rent my place stay for about 3 months. So I get a lot of travel nurses, I get, you know, a lot of remote workers, tech people, and people looking to purchase property down here that want to live in the neighborhood first. And this is the peak season, so you can command a ridiculous amount of rent. Now, ridiculous for down here, not ridiculous for New York City. You know, here you could rent an entire house for $4,500. I mean, that's a great deal. Think about it. 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, front yard, backyard, totally private. You have citrus trees, you have everything. For $4,500? I mean, in Manhattan, that's a 1-bedroom apartment, less than 600 square feet. $4,500. So it's a great deal. So if you're traveling with a family, right, if you have kids, and if you're staying a month, why wouldn't you just rent somebody's house instead of, you know, spending 10 grand at a hotel? It's a good value proposition, pretty good. All right, here's the other SLS Lux Tower. Look at how cool the design is with the balconies. Hang with Mark Mom says, Tom, with the lockbox, you can give the tenant the code and they grab the key. Yeah, so that's the system I have now. I have a lockbox, but as I said, the guy took my keys Now I have another spare, but that's for like absolute emergency. So I'm like, all right, I'll just fly there for the day. I was getting a little bit seasonally depressed anyway in New York, so I'm like, I'll take the trip. All right, let's cross one more time and then we will head back to downtown Miami. This looks to be like an outdoor lounge, something like that. Baby Grinch says $4,500 a month for a 600 square foot. Yeah, I mean, in Manhattan, if you rented a nice building, right, with amenities in a prime location like Tribeca or something, you know, $4,000, $4,500 is not totally uncommon for, you know, 600 to 700 square feet. That's not really uncommon at all. Now, I actually think rents in Miami will come down over time. We've talked about why. Miami does a better job than New York City with approving permits to build. There's not a lot of inventory in New York City because we hardly build anything, but there's towers and cranes going up all over the place in Miami. So I actually think with the, you know, more supply that's coming on the market, rents will sort of come down over time here. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So. All right, we'll cheat a little bit. We won't wait for the light. We'll just walk. But I don't know. I mean, you guys are probably tuning in from all over the US, right? What's sort of the standard average rent where you guys are? Say if you want to live by yourself, right? Not with roommates. Let's talk, you know, one bedroom apartment, 650, 700 square feet, right around there. I know in other parts of the US, one bedroom apartments are probably a little bit bigger than 600 square feet, but I think if you could find a place for like 2,600, I think it's pretty good. Now that is the Panorama Tower. This is the tallest residential apartment building in Miami so far. Hang with Mark Mom says Orlando is $850 per room. Holy crap, in Orlando? I would have never guessed that. I mean, Orlando's probably changed. Look at this dog here. Awesome dog. I think those are Korean. Anyway, but $850 a month for a room in Orlando, Florida. I would never thought I'd be saying that. Holy crap. Jerry's is $2,000 for a one bedroom in Fort Lauderdale. Western Mass Dave's is $1,200. That's not bad. I guess Orlando, Florida has really changed over the years. Because Orlando, you know, didn't used to command that. Let's just say that. Lady Rose is $2,700 for one bedroom in LA. Got it. Yeah, I mean, rents are crazy. It's wild because I come back to my spot in Miami. And just to compare it to my place in New York, it's like, oh my God, it's like you never want to leave. Because in New York City, they slam you like, I mean, unless you're paying, you know, $4,000 plus in New York City in a nice place, chances are the place is probably going to be under 600 square feet. So it's like, for what you get, I mean, it's different. It's just a different kind of environment, if you will. Michael says $1,000 for a one-bedroom in southern New Jersey, just outside Philly. So how long would it be to commute into New York City? I'm sure they have trains, right? I don't know if the Jersey Transit goes that far. I don't even know. I'm not too familiar with New Jersey, but it actually doesn't seem too bad. If you have to come to the city, you know, a couple times a month for a work meeting. I mean, if you like that lifestyle, right? If you like living in the suburbs. Lila says I pay $1,000 a month for a two-bath condo. Wow. That's an incredible deal. I guess my next question is, where do you live, if you don't mind me asking? Obviously you don't have to say in the chat, but wow. I mean, I'm assuming you're not on the East Coast. I'm assuming you're not in a major city. Or maybe I'm assuming wrong. But that's like a steal of a lifetime for two bed. That reminds me of some of the rent stabilization stories in New York, where people are grandfathered in on Central Park South, paying $800 a month. Oh, Augusta, Georgia, got it. Georgia's nice. I was watching like a CNBC. They do these CNBC Make It videos, and apparently there's this new trend of Americans retiring to Mexico, retiring to Italy, France, just because your money goes so much further in those places. I don't know. Would I ever retire abroad? I'd say no. I like America. I think I'll pay a premium to live in the United States. But I wouldn't be against traveling for a bit. But to live there permanently, I don't know. I guess the next question is, how does the quality of healthcare compare in those places as opposed to the US? It's probably less expensive, but what is the quality of the healthcare? Green Star says Cambodia or Thailand. I don't know. Oh, Baker says we want to retire in Italy or England. Well, England is expensive, right? I mean, London, I guess that's a big generalization. London, England, I think that's more expensive than New York City. Then again, it's a major financial powerhouse. Big finance community there. Wow, somebody says you want to retire in India. I like India. I'm very bullish on India. I wrote a thesis about it. Sharon says I feel the same way. Extended stays abroad, but would never want to move there permanently. I would definitely live like a half a year in Italy, for sure. For sure. During nice weather, it's probably more laid back, relaxed environment. You know, the Italians have a very different mindset than Americans. Americans is, we live to work. We don't really take the time to enjoy life, I feel, in America sometimes. 21 says, how do you feel about people who complain about the cost of living where they live? How do I feel about them? I guess, I don't know. I don't really have a feeling about them. I mean, I complain about the cost of living. I think that's normal, you know? I think that's normal to complain about the cost of living where you live. But chances are, if you live in a place like Miami, LA, New York City, everybody really complains about the cost of living here, but at the same time, these are some of the best places to live because there's more opportunity. It's just basic supply and demand. The more people that want to live here, the more prices get bid up. AJ5s, Tom, how many hours of sleep do you usually get a night? 7 to 8. I should say 7 to 8 hours. Now, my biggest, I wouldn't say regret, but I would say one of my biggest mistakes early on in life is not prioritizing sleep. I would literally just take naps. I would just take like 2-3 hour nap, go back to work, but that destroys your health. Like, absolutely obliterates your health. Now, granted, would I be in the position I'm in if I didn't, you know, spend all of my 20s, I would say early 20s, late teens, working 24/7, 365? No, not at all. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't do that. But it did come at a cost. It came at a cost of, you know, really deteriorating my health. So would I go back and do it differently? Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, you need sleep. You have to sleep. It is imperative. Now that I'm older, you really need to get high quality sleep, or I don't make good decisions. I might as well not even show up to work. There was an amazing interview with Jeff Bezos. He said the older you get, and as you move up the corporate ladder, right into the C-suite, right, a CEO isn't supposed to be running around with his head cut off. A CEO is really only supposed to make a very, very few high-quality decisions a day, right? So you want to make sure you are extremely well rested and organized to make those decisions. I believe this was the Jeff Bezos interview with David Rubenstein. Great interview. I know, Western Mass Dave says it's amazing the stamina you could have in your 20s. At the time, when I was a teenager, I didn't realize how much stamina I had. I would say from 17 to 25, holy crap. Now that I'm 28, looking back on it, I'm like, how did I even have the energy to do that? Like, looking back, it's like, holy crap, like, how do you do that? There's definitely a point where your body starts to get older and you can't, you know, run on 2 hours sleep and then go to work and put in 18 hours. It's just, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Maybe some people can. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I can't. At 28, I can't do that anymore. 8 hours, yeah. 7 hours, yes. And I could go, you know, like a maniac. But well, what did you guys think of Miami tonight? I thought it was a nice walk around, right? Not bad. Hey, Bree Grams, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Now, once again, everybody, we're coming up on sort of the main drag in Brickell, and then we're going to go back to downtown Miami. But if you enjoyed the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. If you like these conversations, feel free to subscribe to our free investing newsletter that I just sent out, by the way. I just sent it out via email to everybody. So go check your email. We sent out the Behind the Street newsletter. We talked about AI. We did a deep dive into the earnings report of Microsoft and Alphabet. If you want to sign up, type !news, NEWS in the chat, and click the link to our Substack. We publish every other Thursday right as the market is closing. I thought we covered a lot in the latest newsletter, and I will be recording the audio podcast version tonight, right when I go home. So if you don't like to read it, you could download the Substack application and you can listen to it. Again, just type !news, NEWS in the chat, and it'll drop the link to the newsletter. Or you could scan the QR code on your screen if it works, and that QR code will bring you directly to it. I just sent it out probably about 3 hours ago. So everybody, I appreciate you joining. I will see all of you right back here tomorrow night, but from much colder temperatures in New York City. So Foxing, thank you so much for joining. Susan, I appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow. Nina, thanks for joining. I'll see you tomorrow. Greg, I appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow from New York City. Dale, Hang with Mark Mom, all of our moderators. Jonathan from Florida. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a little taste of Miami. We will be opening an office down here very soon. Appreciate the support. Be safe, Western Mass Dave, Chris B, Sam M. Buy the book. DM Alexis. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna get some food. Take care. Hal T, Hawaii, Sharon, appreciate it. Crispy, take care.